My name is Diana Sanchez. I am the Senior Director of Film here at TIFF. So excited to be here at the Winter Garden Theater to present the latest film by one of my favorite filmmakers, Pablo Larraín. So to begin tonight's event, we would like to acknowledge that this is taking place on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. And we are extremely grateful to have this opportunity to work here in the community. So this evening's film is eligible for the Gross People's Choice Award. Vote for your favorite films, tiff.net/vote. Also, a big thank you to Creative Artist Agency, CAA, for providing us with this film, and a big thank you to Cinema Chile for their generous support. So, tonight we're going to be seeing EMA. It just premiered at the Venice Film Festival as part of the competition. It's the latest film by Pablo Larraín. We've shown many of his films here at the festival. Films like Tony Manero in 2008, which is awesome film, yes. We showed No, which is also screening as part of a Cinematheque program. The Club, Neruda, and Jackie, which actually won the Platform Award here at TIFF. I think he's one of, international cinema's most interesting, diverse directors, and when you see this film, it totally goes somewhere new. He's always exploring these new spaces. Such a pleasure to have him here in Toronto with us. Please welcome Pablo Larraín.
Buenas noches. It's very hard to talk about a movie after you see it, but there's something harder that's to talk before you see it. We feel very grateful for being here tonight and for this wonderful festival, who were given this beautiful venue. You look very beautiful in this place, so thank you. At this time, in a Sunday night, is such a luxury. I'm here with me. Sorry, I'm nervous. I'm not an actor. I'm gonna bring to the stage my brother, who's always with me. We do together. Juan Larraín, please, producer. This is an incredible opportunity also because we had the luxury to invite to the process of the scriptwriting. A very close friend who's actually a playwright, who was the first time who joined the team of screenwriters. And he's here, it's Alejandro Moreno. Please, welcome. He's Chilean, but no one knows that. And he's been working in Hollywood for so many years. And now is here tonight. We have the luxury to have him on the cast. This is a very talented actor, you will see, Santiago Cabrera. Please, welcome. Also joining the production team, who is actually the producer of this film, is Rocío Jadue from Fábula, Chile. Rocío, ven. Filming. I don't know how to introduce this man. It's the third movie we made together. A very generous man, one of the most brilliant actors in our language, Mr. Gael García Bernal. I like to think that she's a beautiful accident that came to our life. She's the heart and soul of this movie, the gorgeous Mariana di Girolamo, please. ¿Algo que decir? ¿No? ¿Gael? ¿No? ¿Seguro?
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. It is such a pleasure. Really, it is always wonderful. And I mean, it's like a beautiful deja vu every time, you know. And very, very, very delighted to be here. Proud to be part of this movie. And thank you to everybody. I mean, it is an honor. Really, it is beautiful that these films are getting made. So thank you so much, and enjoy. This is the best time to see this movie, actually. You know, it's getting dark.
Enjoy the mezcal.
Sorry. But we will be back for the Q&A, right? Yes, so wait at the end. We'll be back to chat with you. Enjoy it.
Santiago. And Mariana is in the bathroom. But she's coming straight away. She's rushing.
So what'd you think? Come here. Don't be shy. Es buenísima, ¿verdad? I know, it's amazing. I have so many questions, like from reggaeton to... Talk about reggaeton. Do you mind starting with talking about reggaeton? What?
Oh, well, thanks for staying. I know it's the kind of movies that maybe you need some digestion, so it's kind of odd to be here. But about reggaeton, it's just say that it's a music from a generation. There's an entire continent listening to that music, and you just can't get away from it, you know. And it's in every, I don't know, gas station, in every shopping center, in every car, in a red light. It just comes to you. I gotta say, I didn't really love it, and then we got into this process, and then realized that we needed that to actually show what the generation is actually dancing. And Mariana is here. Yeah. Mariana di Girolamo.
So it's an interesting way of putting it. So I asked his brother, what should I ask him? And he suggested, it's related to this. Your other films with Tony Manero, you've looked at the past a lot. And this time you're kind of looking at a much more recent past. I mean, sorry, like the future almost. Instead of how with your other films you've been focusing on the past. Why did you want to turn your lens to more of the future now with this film?
Well, I think this is already the past, you know, and I think it's actually happening. I think that, as I said, with the same with the music, it's just a generation that we come from a generation that is probably the last generation from the previous century, and this is the first generation from this century, and I feel that we're so far in an incredible way, and it was amazing for us to be able to try to look at them and create a movie and being a witness of their process. You know, I think for me, what it works very well as a concept, as a metaphor, is that they belong to a dance company, and they don't want to be there because they want to be out in the street dancing by themselves, their own music. They want to be part of a collective movement, but they're starting from themselves. So that is something interesting. And I also believe that Mariana's character, it's just so many characters in one. She's a sister, a daughter, a lover, a wife, a dancer, and finally a mother. So being able to portray that and share that sensibility, I thought it was just beautiful and a great opportunity.
Thank you. Some questions from the audience for, I can't see. Yes, right there, go ahead. Yes. How did you write? I wanted to know that too. How did you write this? ¿Cómo lo escribiste, el guión?
Well, Alejandro, who's right there, and I thought about this about 3 years ago, and then Guillermo Calderón joined us too. We had an outline, like an idea of the movie, and then we wrote most of the dialogues during the shooting. We were writing at night, particularly Guillermo, but we hid the script to the actors. None of them knew what we were actually doing. I thought it was a good process, because sometimes what happens with actors is that they want to control their character, and I don't want that. I want them to experience exactly what we are. Like, none of us know exactly what's going to happen in the next hour, right, or tomorrow. So why would you know so much about your life if you just can't really control it? So it's an exercise which was hard sometimes, because they were like, why am I doing this? You know, why am I here? But it was a process where I believe that we created the movie in the process, not only in the writing, but also with the actors. And eventually it just came what you just saw, I guess.
So what was that process like for you, the actors?
It was interesting because he didn't have anything to hold on to. But my first day of work was that scene in the bed with Mariana, and it was a 7-page scene. I received 2 hours before my pickup, and then we got it in the rehearsal down to 5 and rehearsed it. But there was this one line in there where he says, "I'm always trying to do good. I'm like fighting." So that was something you find a hook. So I kind of understood the character. I think we've all been there in situations maybe where you're not ready to make the right decisions, or you don't know yet. So, you kind of, and then you start putting the pieces together, and then knowing and trusting you're in very good hands because you're working with a great director and a good cast. So it's exhilarating because, you're just on your toes all the time. You have to be.
Hi. I think that in a certain way it's very liberating. And I think that's why this movie, that's what I think, it's very fresh and alive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gael, you've worked with him before, so you trusted him, but you talk a little.
I agree with them, what they say, and also with there's another element. I mean, we've been, it's a film that actually, for us, is starting to sink in also. We've been talking about it and trying to dissect it a little bit and trying to obviously interpret our experience whilst doing it. But there is something also that had to do with a surprise, that the fact that there is something quite, it goes a little bit beyond the understanding what happens in the film. I mean, definitely it begins in a very traumatic situation, something that is perhaps something that we can't imagine happening. No, this failed adoption. So therefore, the language as well, and the dynamic that exists, and the relationships that exist, is new language in a way. Is new. It goes beyond what we understand socially, politically. As a discussion in terms of femininity, masculinity. It's something way ahead. So that was also where we were finding whilst doing the film, and what made us be able to search for things and look out for things and experiment, and there was no right and wrong, because it was all a new thing that was always happening, always evolving, always something new happening. So it was very exciting not to know, but also exploring new language was fantastic.
Sounds amazing. Question, there at the back, go ahead. Yes, you, sir. Did they get? Are you saying did they? Was it? Did they get any challenges from their families? Is that members? Yeah, because you know the film challenges notions of family, which I find really interesting, and it kind of deconstructs our idea of the family. How did you play with that?
My family hasn't seen it. I don't like. They don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's about so many things. I thought that was, you know, the idea of family was definitely a hook into it. But then watching it, you realize it's about so many other things, you know. So you kind of go with the experience of it. But there's definitely something to understand there, at least in the initial approach. But, you know, we live in a world where families, you know, like people make their own terms, partnerships. And, you know, I think the movie, in a way, is also saying something about that, you know, who defines a relationship. And you know, there is a coming together at the end, whether you like it or not, you know, they do come together.
Yeah. She creates a new family. Creas una nueva familia, ¿no?
I think that it's a reflect of how families are nowadays, diverse families. Emma and her friends are also a family. This is a family of 6 person, and it's also a family. I think that that's what we want to reflect in this film. New generations, new orders, new families, new ways of loving, of love.
Yes. The film has so much. Oh, there's a question there. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, sir. So Pablo films in Valparaíso. Why did you choose to shoot there?
Good question. Thank you. You know, Valparaíso is a very important city for us for a number of reasons. It's our main harbor port, and it's a very beautiful, punk, crazy city. That it has a very interesting combination because it's very labyrinthic. It just heals and heals and heals. So it's very sort of, you're very inside of the city, but at the same time, it's near the sea. So it's like the most closest place near the more open one. So it creates this interesting dynamic. And also it's a city that for some reason, I completely ignore the reason, is entirely tagged with, graffiti. So instead of using that graffiti, we bought in the United States a flamethrower and we use it. It's a war weapon and it's illegal in Chile, but we brought it as a VFX. Actually, we used it, but I have it in my house now.
We have a question here at the front. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was amazing. A very heady, intense, interesting, evolving experience to watch, especially from the front row. Just curious to know that if you gave them sort of piecemeal instruction in terms of direction, how did you, like, what was going through your mind during all those gorgeous close-ups when you're on the bus or wherever else you were?
Right. So as he gave them very piecemeal direction, what was going through Mariana's mind through all those close-ups when she was on the bus?
I was very concentrated. That's all. In the present, with my partners and with myself and the inner world of Emma. But it requires a lot of concentration. It's too heavy. It's too heavy and it's amazing.
We had a stunt double who had like a blonde wig. Who was a guy, like a stunt man who like started doing it, and then she said like, I'm gonna use it. I'm like, I think it's too dangerous. And she actually, in every shot in the movie, she actually operates it. And, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she did.
And we have time for one last question here. Go ahead, sir. Okay. So the question is about Nicholas Jarre, who scored the film and is also Chilean as well. And if you had a previous relationship or how you got involved.
No, I didn't know him before. I'm just a fan. I think his music is amazing, and we were like, we just call him, you know, and that's what we did. And he said, all right. And he was like it was very interesting because usually what you do is that you make the movie and then you share it with the composer. This time I talked to him and he starts sending music. And that music was on my headphones during the filming. So it's the first time that I actually kind of move the camera listening to the music before it's actually put together on the cutting room. So it was very new. And then I also felt that the music was so atmospheric and kind of so hypnotic that we use it a lot. There's a lot of music in the movie. I've never used like so much music in the movie. I think Nicolas is really like a genius to me. It's a bit of an exceptional composer and a very generous man too. So I was really grateful to work with him. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, there's so much to talk about. This film, I was thinking about it for days. I'm sure the same is going to happen with you all. Thank you for sharing it with us, for coming to Toronto once again. And
Thanks for having us here.